All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Autonomy podcast. And today I am welcomed by my dear client, Ankit. How are you, man?
Doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for taking the time on your Friday afternoon to do this. I really appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great to have you. And I really want to start by congratulating you on this amazing journey so far. Like, you have lost 16 kilos, and guess what? You're getting into a photo shoot next week as well, which is really exciting. How do you feel so far, man? Like, this is really crazy.
I feel like such a sense of accomplishment that I can't believe it's actually over, and that like we're moving on to this photo shoot, and I got so much more progress out of it than I even thought I was going to. And I feel it's great to actually just get to the finish line now.
Wow, that's awesome. Tell me about this shirt you're wearing. When was the last time you wore it? Because you told me about that last time, and I was like, I'm going to ask you about that on the call.
Yeah, I think like I bought this 5 years ago, and I wore it twice, and then I just gained all this weight, and I was like, man, this really shrunk in the laundry. And then my wife goes like, no, it didn't shrink. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna get back to this shirt one day. One day I'm gonna wear it again, and I've been fitting into all my old clothes again, which has been awesome.
Wow, what a day to wear it on.
Yeah.
Right across the finish line, right?
Yeah, seriously, man, I'm so excited for it. I've we just did a bunch of spring cleaning, and a bunch of clothes that I was planning on getting rid of like 5 months ago. I was like, nah, we're gonna keep them now.
That's awesome, man. There you go. You don't have to change your wardrobe or throw them away now. You have them ready.
Yeah, exactly. And I did treat myself and like upgraded some new clothes too on top of that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Let me take you back from the beginning of how it all started. Why did you join Autonomy? What was your goal when you joined, actually?
Yeah, I mean, so it was really just to get the monkey off my back in a sense. So I've always been a very active person. And then, in medical school, I got into probably the third best shape of my life. And then started like my residency training. COVID happened. And then I just like lost a ton of muscle the first few months of training because I wasn't eating and I wasn't working out. And then at some point I was able to eat again. So I just stress ate a lot. Then my wife and I proposed to my then fiance, now wife, and I lost 10, 15 pounds for the wedding and thought I looked pretty good at the wedding. And then in 2022, that's when we got married. I just gained all this weight, and it was like a bunch of happy weight, post-marriage. That's when really my fitness journey kind of started, because we got married in June. I gained a bunch of weight up until November. And then I remember we were home visiting my parents as like the, welcome the bride ritual that we have in our culture.
Yeah.
And I remember we went out and my dad had a heart attack. That night we came in and he needed like emergency surgery. And that was like a really big wake up call for me, because I realized, wow, I've gained weight and now my dad has had a heart attack. And it was a really big introspection into my own health, because I realized I'm going down a pathway I don't want to go down. And it's pretty traumatizing seeing it's your dad, right? So it's like,
of course,
my dad's like the toughest man I ever met in my life, and seeing him in that position, I realized that could be my future. And that was winter of 2022. Seeing like my dad had a heart attack, I realized I gained all that weight because I had a suit that I got custom fitted to me 6 months ago prior to that, and just did not fit at all. Could not get to clothes. And I got on a scale and I realized I gained like 40 pounds since the wedding in like 5 months, which is like nuts. So from 2022 to 2023, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get in the best shape of my life. So in 2023, I was like, I'm gonna sign up for a marathon. And for like 10 months, I just really grinded. I went from 230 to 190 to 195, and I was bench pressing like 225. I was able to deadlift almost 400 pounds. And in the meantime, I turned myself into a runner too. Like I went from not being able to run a mile to like consistently running like half marathons before work, which was insane. Unfortunately, I didn't get to run the marathon. I got injured. I signed up for a marathon. My grandfather unfortunately passed away that weekend. So I went to go see him instead. And then I got injured again trying to prepare for another marathon. So that was like 2024 that I stopped with the marathon thing for a little bit. Graduated from training and realized I still was not at my goal weight, because I was at 195. I was strong. I was able to run a lot. And I was like, I need to get this monkey off my back finally. I kept thinking about this Kobe Bryant quote, which was like, job's not finished. And every time I got on scale, I was like, job's not finished. I was following Autonomy for a while, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go all in. I'm going full send on this one goal of losing these last like 10 pounds, 10, 15 pounds. And that's when I found you guys and joined the club in December 2024, right around the holidays.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, really pleasure to have you. And it seems like you've tried some things before and they work as well. Like you've lost weight, gained weight, lost weight. So you've been athletic as well. What attracted you about Autonomy that you felt like I'm gonna go all in with this program?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the bodybuilding.com era where you eat like 5 meals a day. That's not gonna happen with any people. I'm not gonna eat chicken and rice and broccoli. Like, me and my wife eat like a balanced meal, but like she likes to make dal. I like to eat Indian food, and I was just like, I'm just cannot do this Western way of dieting for these 4 months and be successful. And that's when I found you guys. I was like, all right, these guys seem a lot more reasonable, because I interviewed a couple of other coaches. My wife's cousin had a coach. We went to Cancun. We went to like a wedding in November, and he was telling me about his coach. I was like, sounds like it's working for you. That's not gonna work for me. And then I decided that's when I decided to go with you guys, because I was like, I think these guys are actually gonna be the most best shot to like succeed in the least painful manner.
Absolutely. How do you feel so far? Been together now, I would say 4 or 5 months now. How did you feel like the journey went?
Honestly, like we started in December, which a lot of people wait till January to start it. And I was like, if I don't start now, I'm not gonna start. The first couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, were really tough, especially during the holidays. Have to be pretty on top of it to like stay consistent, also trying to enjoy the holidays. So that was tough. The first 2-3 weeks, from like January through like late February, it didn't really feel like a diet. It just felt like, all right, I'm just gonna eat healthy. I'm gonna watch what I eat. I'm gonna follow the plan. I'm just trying to get my 10,000 steps in. Then like the last 3 weeks that I've been through, that's been hard. But it was really the first 2 weeks and the last 2-3 weeks that have been difficult. Other than that, it's been pretty easy to integrate everything once everything started getting in line.
Absolutely. What did you feel, Ankit, you struggled with before joining, especially in the year of 2024? What did you feel your struggles were with mainly nutrition, I would say?
Yeah, I mean, it's consistency. One day I would work out, eat all my protein, just eat all my veggies. I was doing that 4 out of 7 days a week, but then 3 days out of the week, picking out. If now with autonomy, I was like, all right, I can do 6.5 days out of the week where I'm going to be consistent and like pretty consistent, like being really good 6.5 days out of the week instead of amazing 3 or 4 days of the week. So just consistency.
Yeah, absolutely. I know like you work also like, these night shifts, and they're sometimes like really brutal for you. How were you able to manage as well, like your meal plan or being consistent while still doing that double life, I would say? Yeah,
as an ER doctor, you really don't have much control of your shift, how it goes. You walk into 12 hours, it could be easy. I could be taking a nap in the middle of the shift, or we're running around 12, and those 12 hours easily turn to 13, 14 hours, some 15. The night shifts were the worst because you're awake for an extended period of time, almost 27 hours at that point. So that leaves you 27 hours of making bad decisions as opposed to like 15 hours. So really like the plan that you and I came up with, I was like, we're just going to push everything back to the middle of the night, or like just push all our calories to like when we're actually on shift. And I think that's what helped. Also just having tons of veggies on shifts helped. And then one thing I started doing the last 2 weeks was understanding, am I hungry or am I stressed? Because there's 2 different things. If I'm stressed, I don't get to eat. If I'm hungry, I mean like the stomach's grumbling, I'm feeling like my brain power is gone, then I get to eat something. Yeah, certainly having that knowledge around what does your body need versus what do you give your body, right? Yeah, exactly. And I think like also there was like some, on nights we gave me a lot of leeway. It's like, all right, get through the night, try not to make too much of a backwards progress, like regress, and then we'll recover when I'm back on a normal day schedule. Yeah, exactly. Nice to have that flexibility in order to be able to stay in control. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. And what do you feel, Ankit, that you have learned with this journey so far? Probably like you did not know about before joining or before starting this. Yeah, I lost 30 pounds by myself, and I learned what got me to good is not going to get me to great. What got me to good was like, I'm going to work out hard every single day. But then what I learned was you need to eat a lot if you're going to work out like an athlete. You better eat like an athlete, and that means eat a lot of food. And to lose weight, you really don't have to exercise that hard. It's really about controlling your diet. So number 1 was just like, all right, really paying attention on the diet. Number 2 was steps actually can go a long way. Yeah. Just going out for a walk with my wife burned 100, 200 calories, and it's just something that we started to enjoy together. So just like, low key and exercise can go a long way. Because you don't need to fuel for a walk. Like I don't need to eat 50 grams of carbs to go for like a nice 2-3 mile walk with my wife. Absolutely, man. Yeah, that's really great to hear. And all of these like small things that we know, but actually when we start doing them and being consistent with them, they really resonate well, and you see the results as well. Yeah, and having someone that keeps you accountable. It's when I like signed up for the program, I had to answer it to 2 people. My wife was always supportive about my weight loss, especially during 2024. But then when you pay for a coach, she's a South Indian woman. She's going to she's a South Asian woman. She's going to like be accountable. She's like, we're going to pay for something? Yeah, we're going to use it all accounts. So she was harder on me than you were. That's awesome. Whereas you were like, hey, you had a little too much chicken. She was like, dude, you messed up today.
I like that. That's a
Wow.
nice balance.
Yeah. She was a real MVP in this one. She actually accidentally lost like 5 pounds because we weren't eating out as much. And she's a fairly active person, so she accidentally lost like 5 pounds.
Yeah, it's great when somebody is doing the journey, how impactful it is on the rest of the family as well.
And my family was like super supportive about the whole thing. It's my parents-in-law.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Speaking about family, Keith, have you met family members or people that you haven't seen in a while and now they've seen you recently? And how was that interaction? I'm interested to know.
Yeah, I think I told you this. My cousin's wedding was about week 12 of the program. My cousins I haven't seen in like months at that point were like, saying like, wow, you look really good, which was great. And most importantly, like the clothes that didn't fit me were fitting like super easy all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you planning on visiting family or seeing anyone like, in the near future as well?
Yeah, I mean, next week we're going for the photo shoots in New York City, and then we
Yeah.
have plans to go see people.
Awesome. How excited are you about the photo shoot?
I'm excited. I'm nervous. I hate photos. I hate taking pictures. I used to hate taking pictures. Don't get me wrong. Now I don't hate taking pictures because I'm like, oh, okay, I look good in pictures. And my wife loves taking pictures. That was one of the main reasons I did this. Every time she wanted to take a picture, it was always just like, always had a small little argument. I was like, oh, do we have to keep doing this? Because I hated the way I looked. But now I'm like, oh, I'm the one that wants to initiate taking pictures now.
Yeah.
So I'm a little nervous. Pretty excited for it though.
Have you thought about at some point, I'm going to get into a body shape where I'm going to take a photo shoot?
Not really. And so
Yeah.
this was just a byproduct of that. I just want
Well,
to look good
that's
in
great.
clothes and then feel athletic. I want to look athletic and feel athletic. I didn't realize once you said like, hey, we're gonna do a photo shoot, I was like, oh jeez. Like now I gotta really push
Yeah,
it.
I'm really proud of you, man. Like, I think you're the only client who's like, traveling all the way from Nashville to go there. So that's like absolutely great.
Yeah, no, we're excited.
Yeah,
I already have my cheat meal planned out after the photo shoot. That's what I'm really excited for.
That's totally deserved. Like the cherry on top of the cake, I would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So, Ankit, like going back to your journey, you mentioned something very important, which is consistency. That's what you struggled as well before joining, usually on your journey. What do you feel has helped you be consistent with this program?
I mean, just answering to someone almost every night, answering to the scale every morning. That was the two biggest ones, like doing the daily reports, telling you what I gotta eat, taking pictures. That was the two biggest ones that I had to count to you. And then the third one was that scale will not lie to you. So if you're gonna overeat tonight, that scale is going to hold you accountable tomorrow morning. I started weighing myself twice a day, once in the morning and then once at night before I go to sleep. So that actually felt like it helped out a lot, just weighing myself every day. There's actually some research that came out, I forgot in what scientific journal, said people that weigh themselves every day statistically over a lifespan weigh less, which makes a lot of sense now.
Interesting. Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, we're working together and I know the strategies that we have set together, but it would be really great to hear from you is that what are the strategies that were set with your coach that really helped you see those results? Like, oh man, like this really worked out well for me.
I mean, the big ones were the one play rule, which you guys really made emphasis on, like a lot of clients. So I watched a lot of your other podcasts and all your other clients say that. So really just filling up on veggies and then getting the right protein in. So that was one. And then two was the guide that you guys sent. Like, all right, this is how much paneer you can have. This is how much like pokora you can have. This is how much like tofu you can have. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Because like now this tells me if we're having falafel tonight, how much falafel I'm allowed to have. This is what I needed. This is why I signed up with you guys. So that was like two big ones. And I think like the third one was, I like to eat out. Who doesn't like to eat out? Who doesn't like to try new food? So if you're going to go out, okay, like your snacks are gone for the day and maybe your snacks are gone for the next day. If you're going to have a drink, that counts as a snack. If you have 2 drinks, you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
So like having strategies for when we're eating out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always like, get overshadowed. The 4 pillars of nutrition, which I call, it's like, home, work, social, and travel. And usually like, we might be good at one, but we suck at the other 3. And hence why we don't see weight loss. You know what I mean? So certainly I think like, with you, we worked a strategy of like, having a home plan. And then because you're a doctor, so you did like half of your month were night shift. So we had to do a work plan as well, which is not similar to the home plan.
Yeah, and then we even had a travel plan. Like during this weight loss program, we went on 1, 2, 3 trips, and now a 4th trip coming up. And even then, I was able to see progress. So that was awesome.
Yeah, that's
like I lost weight on a cruise, which was so cool. I came back from the cruise with my parents and my wife, and I weighed a pound less.
Awesome, man. It's interesting to see as you are losing weight and looking really good. Like, how do you feel like your energy levels have been? And
energy levels have been great. I mean, it's just the overall mood has been better because like I feel better. I feel like internally. So I always feel great internally, but now I feel like I look great externally in my head, at least. And I think my wife will agree. But now that even adds to that mood, that extra confidence. So like I just feel so much better and like happier now. Every time I put on a piece of clothing that I didn't wear for like 4 or 5 years and fits better, it's like just a great way to start the morning off.
Yeah.
Or like
absolutely.
when I do push-ups and pull-ups, like that just feels so much better. It's just like another like dopamine hit of like success.
Exactly, and that's what I wanted to ask you as well. Like, you sent me that video of you doing those pull-ups. Like, you were going really at it. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, man, tell me more.
I just did back day again today, and I saw my post go up on the Autonomy website, and I said like, oh yeah, I hit my record of 35 pull-ups. And I was like, oh, that was 5 weeks ago. I sent that to Judy because now I hit 45 pull-ups today. Not all at once, I will say, but like I was like, man, it just feels so good. I remember like watching YouTube fitness influencers when I was creating my weightlifting program, and they were like, the best workout for your back is pull-ups. I'm like, screw you guys, like I can barely do 5, and then I lost the weight. I'm like repping out like 10 on a set. I'm like, okay, this is awesome.
Wow, that's fantastic to hear, man. Yeah, that's great. And how do you feel like your lifts as well in the gym? Do you feel like you're getting stronger as well with lifting?
Bodyweight exercise has gone a lot stronger. I injured my back, and that took me out for like 3 or 4 weeks from deadlifting and bench squatting. Those obviously went down, but my bench press is still strong. Yeah, so still feel just as strong as I did like 5 months ago when I met you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's really cool
definitely.
is my running has gotten even better. Like I can still run like a sub 8 minute mile, which is insane for a guy who's in his 30s, never been a runner. So that feels really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome to hear. And it's certainly the myth that goes around, like, oh, if you're eating less, if you're on a diet, you're going to have less energy, you're not going to be able to do stuff, you're not going to be able to lift more. So how do you feel about that? Like, you doing this hands-on?
Yeah, I mean, so weightlifting wise, you shouldn't feel too much of a decrease in energy. I will say if you're going to go after like a long 5, 6, 7, 8 mile run, you need to have carbs. But if you're going to like just go for weightlifting and a nice easy cardio session, you really don't need that much calories to get you through a good weightlifting session. Now, if you're going to do like high intensity stuff or like long cardio sessions, you're going to need that. But no, you really don't need much, I've learned, to get through it. And that's what I learned like this time around. I was like, all right, we're going to really focus on the diet. The exercise will be secondary. Because mostly we're just working on steps and getting the diet, and the weightlifting I was just doing on my own for fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, really great stuff, man. I'm really excited to have you go to the photo shoot, meet Tom and Nathan and the rest of the team as well, and make that like, that would be the trophy for the end of your dieting phase, I would say, and then moving to the maintenance phase. So yeah, really looking forward to it. So my next question to you, Ankit, the last question would be, and we wrap up, being in this journey and doing like, the dieting phase and dieting in different programs and like, doing this as well. What are 3 tips that you would give to somebody who is just starting their journey? Yeah,
and so number 1 is like, it's all about portion control. You can eat anything you want, you just can't eat everything you want. So you can have a chocolate cake, you can only have a little bit of it. You can have whatever traditional meal you want, but you can only have like an XYZ amount of it. So that's number 1. Number 2 is you gotta keep long-term goals in mind. So for me, it was just like, I'm a doctor, I'm an ER doctor specifically, so I see what can happen when you let your health go to waste. So remember, you're not just doing it for yourself now, you're doing this for yourself in the future, and you're also doing this for your loved ones. That was like the big thing for me.
Yeah.
And number 3 is like, just be kind to yourself. I wasn't perfect, as you know, like a lot of days. I failed a lot of days. Sometimes I backslid a lot of days. And those days, like a year ago, I would really kick myself, gave up, and well, no, screw it, it's not worth it. But no, I was like, you know what? That was one bad day. One bad day does not mean we're done. So just getting back on the horse and just keep going forward.
Yeah, absolutely love it. Like really, really important things to share. And I really appreciate that, man. Thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me. I really enjoyed that time. And I can't tell you how proud I am to be working with you and getting you to those goals that you have been looking for. Yeah,
dude, you've been awesome to work with. And it's been so easy, like the whole step of the way. I remember, and I told you this before, 3 weeks ago, we were like, we're going to get really strict on this diet. And I was telling you 2 days in, I'm like, man, I really miss carbs. And you were like, you know what? People do this every year for religious fasting. You'll be fine. I'm like, you know what? You're right. I need to get over myself. It's okay. And at that point, I was like, you know what? Nah, I guess he's right.
Yeah. Love that, man. Love that. I think we have that relationship where, like, I'll be fine telling Ankit that.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I guess I can stuck it for 3 weeks.
Yeah. You'll be fine. Awesome, man. All right, Ankit, it was really a pleasure chatting with you, and I really look towards the future and how the photo shoot is going to happen, and really excited to be working with you and having you today on the call.
Thanks for having me, Judy. It's been a pleasure working with you the last few months.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have a good one, and I will catch up with you later.
See you, man. Bye-bye.